Okay.
Hello, everybody, and here we are. It's 1 o'clock. I hope you've had some lunch and your tummy's feeling contented, because we're going to delve into the wonderful world of relationships and helping others and healing ourselves with the incredible Tracey Korman, who's been in the matchmaking industry for like almost 30 years. Tracey, thanks for coming.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. I read your bio and it was like, ooh, this sounds really cool. Now, Tracey used to have a really successful matchmaking business on the Gold Coast, and that was known as the Gateway to Love. I really like that. What is it about matchmaking and getting people together that really gets you excited?
Well, my journey has been interesting, let's say, and in that regard. So I really understand my clients really well. It's not like I've been happily married for 25 years, you know. I had the classic textbook marriage breakup. Was besotted with my son when he was born. It was a classic textbook breakup. Have learned a lot since then, of course, how that could have been avoided. But since then, my journey has been really difficult, disappointing with relationships and men. It's been tough. So I really understand when somebody says to me that, you know, they really want to find their person, you know, they're one and they're really.
Is it a pipe dream to want to find your soulmate? Is there really such a thing in your experience in matchmaking?
Look, I believe there's someone for everyone. I've always believed that. And love is love, you know. And everyone the world over wants more love.
All we need is love. Ba, 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 ba. You didn't know you're going to get sung to. There you go.
Well, that's the thing, Annette. What does the world need more than anything else at the moment, apart from, you know, the situation that we're in currently? Okay, we could, there's other things that you could think of. But outside of that, what does the world need more than anything else?
Love. Yeah.
For one another, love for the environment, love for Mother Earth. Love, love, love. Love is what we need on planet Earth.
Love is all you need. I'm going to be singing that all day now.
All we need is love.
It's love. Everyone, join in. Ba, 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 ba. All you need is love. Love. Love is all you need. You're not joining in, Tracey. You're dancing.
Sorry, I was thinking of Dionne Warwick. What the world needs
now is love.
It's love, sweet love. It's the only thing
that there's just too little love. I think that we've found our calling. Tracey and I will be on the road next week. No, we won't, because we're in isolation. But you can tune in here and hear us sing. I'm really curious. How has the world of matchmaking changed? So like almost 30 years. So you've gone from, you know, those awkward filling in a form to online dating. So what's it been like in between?
Yeah, so the awkward filling in the form, people would feel really awkward. There was a stigma attached to using a dating service back in, you know, when I started. Now it's almost fashionable to have your own matchmaker, you know, your own personalized matchmaker. It's fashionable. But in the past was a stigma, you know. People didn't tell, well, they didn't want everyone to know that they were using a matchmaker. They didn't want their family and work colleagues to know that, you know, I'm onto a dating service.
I guess because, you know, when you think about, you know, meeting the person of your dreams, or, you know, the person that's right for now, is that it's an organic process, that it just happens.
Well, it used to, but not anymore.
Not anymore? What changed?
Well, when our grandparents wanted to meet someone, they'd go to, or my grandparents would go to, on my mother's side, would go to the dance on a Saturday night. And that's how they would meet, you know. What changed is the world got too fast, too busy. People didn't know how to have successful relationships. We weren't taught that stuff. This is what works in a relationship and this is what doesn't work. We didn't have those tools. Nowadays, it's almost like you need those tools for your relationship to survive. So, yeah, it's certainly been, evolving along the way. And
So-
I
Continue.
Well, I'm just a big believer now that people need the tools, need to know what it is to have what they need to have a successful, happy relationship, lasting.
Lasting. There's the key. Lasting.
Do you
think that our reliance on interacting online socially has hindered our ability to communicate and build strong romantic relationships, particularly when it comes to conflict? So if you disagree with someone, nowadays it's if you disagree with someone straight away, that's it, I'm unfriending them, I'm out of here. We don't have that mature, but Hayley and I were talking about this morning, it's okay to disagree and we can still be friends and still love each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. But what you're saying is right. A lot of people easily just, I'll move on from there. I'll disengage and I'll move on from there because it got too tough. They didn't know how to sort it out, the conflict.
So what are some of the mistakes that people are making with their matchmaking or their dating, like particularly things like Tinder and Plenty of Fish and RSVP? That's all I know about because I've been married for 25 years, so I haven't had to look for a date for a long time. But what are those things that people are doing wrong? Why does there seem to be this washing machine churn through people and dick pics and inappropriate interactions?
Yeah, so by the way, you're really lucky, Annette, to have been married 25 years. You're very blessed. To answer that question is, I think there's so much opportunity now, particularly with online dating, and people are too quick to just move on instead of getting to know the character of a person and their values, instead of, we don't have a connection and, move on to another date or another, lover,
It's a bit like fast fashion, isn't it? Go buy a $5 top from Supre, it falls apart, I'm just going to go out and get another one.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Instead of giving someone more time and giving the opportunity more time,
Someone just commented it's a bit of a lack of emotional intelligence, would you say, that we miss these signs, we miss these signals, and we're so, when I say we, I'm not talking about you or I or our audience, I'm generalising, but we don't look beyond ourselves and the impact of our decisions on other people.
Emotional intelligence, that's huge, Annette. There's so many people, unfortunately, lacking emotional intelligence, and that's huge. That's why so many relationships will end. Of course, there's a lot of other reasons, but that's a big one.
What's some other things that people are lacking that they could go, maybe I need to work on this? Well,
it's kind of tied in with emotional intelligence. So they might have issues. Let's say they feel insecure in the relationship and in themselves and their, where they're at in life. Well, instead of working on that, they will spew forth their insecurity in all manner of ways, which is kind of chipping at the relationship in a detrimental way. You know, when people work on themselves and understand themselves better, one of the things I say is spend time with yourself, know yourself. So I'm an ambivert. I spend a lot of time by myself because of my life experiences, but I also really enjoy it. It's peaceful and I get to do the things that I want to do, and I like me. I know me really, really well. So, you know, I know who I'm with when I'm by myself. But so many people out there in this busy world, although I think we'll now move into a slower time, which is a blessing, because I think we really needed to slow down. Things were too fast. But people spend time with themselves and get to know themselves and pause. So instead of erupting and getting into an argument with their loved one, their partner, they can pause and perhaps sit back for a minute and just allow things to unfold without escalating, you know, into an argument.
Now, you had a moment 8 or 9 years ago where you found that you needed to pause, and you spent a lot of time on your rocking chair, contemplating life and thinking about how you needed to change. What were some of the insights that you had about yourself that helped you move forward?
Gratitude changed my life. So I was very ill, surrounded myself with nature, and gratitude changed my life. Do you know you cannot feel grateful and depressed at the same time? You can't. You're either feeling one or the other. Feeling miserable, depressed, by practicing gratitude, it actually changes the brain chemistry. Practicing gratitude, you feel better. You can only feel one or the other.
Yeah, I like that.
You feel miserable and depressed when you're feeling grateful.
So if you're feeling down, I guess that's why you see posts, you know, every day write down 3 things that you're grateful for, and it starts your day off in a better frame of mind, because you're then looking at the world going, you know what, I'm really grateful that I've got tissues, or I'm really grateful. And it could be anything, can't it, the gratitude?
Yes. I've got a morning ritual these days, as many people have. And I think of things that I'm grateful for. Sometimes I'll end my day that way too, and I'll think of things that I'm grateful for. So for many years, I played a little game with myself. I think of 5 things I'm grateful for, and then I'd go 10. And I'd go, you know what, I'm going to do 15. And then I'd say, I'm going to do 25. Things that you're grateful for. You know, you can be grateful that you can talk and that we can have this conversation now. Grateful that I can see you, Annette. Grateful that I have a desktop and a lovely office that I get to work in. You know, grateful the sky is blue and the sun's out. You know, so many things.
That's really cool. Well, I think there's a bit of a challenge there for all of our obsessed with listeners, is that why don't you challenge yourself to start with just one thing a day that you're grateful for, and then build on it. By the end of the month, you've got this massive list that you can look back over and go, you know what, my life's not too bad. So if we can go back to matchmaking and dating, because I'm really curious as to how you see the current situation with coronavirus. We're socially isolated. We can't go and meet for coffee. We can't go and meet for drinks. How are people overcoming that to build relationships in this current climate?
Yes, I'll get to that in one moment. I just wanted to share on it on the gratitude. So for anyone out there that's doing it really tough at the moment, and we know that some people are, gratitude will help them immensely. They will feel better. They will be able to get through the day. They'll be able to see the week as being okay. Yeah, so that's my message.
And if we go back to what we were saying there, that you can just, if you're feeling down and you're going, I don't know what the fuck I can feel grateful for, everything sucks. If you start with something really simple, and it could just be, I'm grateful that I've got clean sheets on my bed.
Yeah. And I'm grateful that I was able to get out of bed today. I didn't have to wait for someone to come and, help me go from my bed to a wheelchair, for example. It can be something so simple as that. Yeah, I'm grateful that I've got 2 feet that I can put on the floor when I'm getting up. This can be the really simple things. But to answer your question about dating, so virtual dates at the moment, I had some great ideas for virtual dates a couple of weeks ago, right? So at the moment, I've got members, probably the 50-year plus people. They're enjoying relaxing and chatting on the phone. And the younger ones are texting and doing video chats. But I had some great virtual date ideas, and that was, they can have a cook-off in the kitchen. Or, I love dancing, so they can listen to some favourite tunes and have a dance. And hey, here's one of my favourite tunes, and let's have a dance to that. I had an older couple, when I say older, they're in their 60s, and they chatted the last few weeks, and then they met last week, kept their social distance, and they went for a walk. And they had a really nice time. So, there's some of the different things that, people are having to do at the moment. But I what's lovely? I get to be part of that, and knowing that they've got connection and they've got, joy in their day by enjoying getting to know someone, they're having a laugh. That gives me joy,
So when you're matchmaking, you're obviously bringing in all of your life's experiences, the experience that you've had dating and marriage and all of that. What's the what do you share that with your clients, like some of your experiences?
No,
it's total no. You're the professional.
I don't. I'm busy listening to them, chatting about them. I'm a qualified counsellor. I specialise in trauma, mental health and relationship issues. So the most I'll say, Annette, probably is I really do understand what you're telling me. I really do understand what you're saying, And occasionally I might say, well, actually if I say anything, what I say is I've had more success introducing my members than in my own personal life. Yeah.
Do what I say, don't do what I do.
Yes. Yeah,
what's the best date you've ever been on?
The best date was probably a helicopter ride. Yeah, it was
a helicopter.
Probably that was the best date. And flew all around over the beach in surface. And actually, it wasn't a date because it was the beginning of a relationship, but flew all along the beach and the coastline of Gold Coast.
That's romantic.
I know, right?
Yeah, that's way romantic.
Yeah.
So you said at the start of this you had a textbook marriage breakdown. I haven't had a marriage breakdown. So what is a textbook marriage breakdown?
So a lot of marriages end after the first child is born. And when my beautiful son, who's the light of my life, Annette, when he was born, I was besotted with him. And my husband at the time, who was my best friend and soulmate, he came out from England and was really struggling here to settle into life in Australia. He left a really good life behind, a great career, some awesome friends, and a good life, and his fancy car, and but some amazing friends and lifestyle. He left that behind and he struggled settling into Australia. And he probably started drinking too much and had a short temper. And I was absolutely besotted with my son and our son. And so what happened was there was a divide. While he was being short-tempered, I was being loving with my baby boy, and then the drift starts.
So he probably felt lack of attention. Yeah. Okay. I can understand that. It's incredibly difficult when you have a baby for the first time because nobody gives you a textbook for that thing. I just referred to my child as a thing to that beautiful human being that you have created. It's like, now, Tracey, you've had a really fascinating career. I can't imagine the number of people that you've seen and that you've gone through, but there's something that really gets your heart singing that you were telling me. And these days you're charity driven and you're creating projects for the homeless and for children. What is it? You've got something starting on the Gold Coast, you said. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. In 2012, I dedicated my life to my son and my charity goals, and I'm very passionate about helping the homeless and street children and protecting children. So I spent 5 years working hard trying to raise the funds for a home in India for street children and for a project here on the Gold Coast to assist the homeless. I spent 5 years doing that, and the money didn't arrive. In the end, I was bitterly disappointed. So I said, okay, do it your way and let it go. And now I do whatever I can. You know, I work with offer to work with the homeless on the Gold Coast for free. My son and I have been going to the Gold Coast Community Christmas lunches the last 4 years. I've been a community member with Susie Longman. It's amazing. You know, 700 people approximately turn up on Christmas Day. They've got gifts and a beautiful lunch, and we wait on them, and they have an amazing day. And I went to a shelter for homeless children in 2013 in India, Shikshan Gram, shelter for homeless children. And they started out with about 50 children. They've got 150 children. Those children were on the streets. And what I also do is I learned about 4 years ago the evil that exists in the world where children are concerned. And once I was over the initial shock and the nausea, which lasted about a week, I then spoke to a mentor and said, well, how can I live in the world knowing what I now know? And what can I do for the children? And he said, you can do whatever is possible. So I sign petitions, I share information, and that has to be done carefully because, you know, there's triggers where that's concerned. But a lot of work in that regard. And look, more and more is coming out now where people are waking up and realising what is actually running the world and where the children sit in that. So I do whatever I can in that regard. As far as the project goes for the homeless on the Gold Coast, I live in hope that, you know, I've got a mapped out draft. Everything is in draft form of a project that would work so that you don't have people homeless. You know, we live in a time where people shouldn't be homeless.
So very true. So very true. Well, Tracey, thank you so much for joining me today. I've loved listening about matchmaking. I find that really intriguing. It's like I'm living vicariously through what you just shared and reminding us that if we want to be the change in the world, that we have to be the change that we want to see by working on ourselves.
Yes, we do. We do.
So thank you very much.
Welcome. Bye.